discussing death can be awkward, and many people would prefer to just ignore estate planning altogether. However, ignoring or even just putting off such planning can be a huge mistake, as many celebrity stories will highlight. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I am your host, Becky Easton. And today we are talking about some estate planning best practices gleaned from famous celebrity deaths. So the next time one of your relatives tells you that they don't want to talk about estate planning, share one of these famous celebrity stories to get the conversation started. Such cautionary tales offer firsthand evidence of just how critical it is to engage in estate planning, even if it's uncomfortable. First up, let's talk a little bit about the Marley family battle. So you would think that with millions of dollars in assets, including royalties offering revenue for the indefinite future, all of this at stake, that more famous musicians would at least have a will in place. But sadly, you'd be wrong. Legendary stars like Bob Marley, Prince, and Jimi Hendrix all failed to write down their wishes on paper at all. Not having an estate plan can be a nightmare for your surviving family, and indeed, Bob Marley's heirs are still battling one another in court 3 decades later. If you do nothing else before you die, at least be courteous enough to your loved ones to document your wishes and keep them out of court and out of conflict. Then we have the story about Paul Walker. He died at just 40 in a tragic car accident. He did have enough forethought to implement some basic estate planning. His will left $25 million to his teenage daughter in a trust, and appointed his mother as her legal guardian until 18. But isn't 18 far too young for a child to receive an inheritance of any size? Walker would have been far better advised to leave his assets in an ongoing trust, with financial education built in to give his daughter her best shot at life well lived, even without him in the picture. Most inheritors, like lottery winners, are unfortunately not properly educated about what to do after receiving an inheritance, so they often lose that inheritance within just a few years, even when it's millions. Indeed, none of us has any clue when we'll die, only that it will happen. So no matter how young you are or how much money you have, and especially if you have any children, don't put off estate planning for another day. You truly never know when it will be needed. Then we have Heath Ledger, who didn't update his estate planning. And even though Heath Ledger created a will shortly after becoming famous, he failed to update it for more than 5 years. And the will left his entire fortune to his parents and sister. So when he died unexpectedly in 2008, his young daughter received nothing, as she hadn't been added to the will. Fortunately, his parents made sure their granddaughter was provided for, but that might not always be the case in every family. Creating an estate planning strategy is just the start. Be sure to regularly update your documents, especially following births, deaths, divorce, new marriages, acquiring new assets, or retiring. Many estate plans fail because most lawyers don't have built-in systems for updating your estate plans. But a good law firm will, mostly because they don't want this to happen to your family. And then there's Paul Newman. He cut out his daughters too. And though it's a good idea to regularly update your estate plan, you want to be sure that your heirs know exactly what your intentions are as well when you're making such updates, or your family might experience significant shock by not knowing why you did what you did. The final update to Paul Newman's will, which was just one that was made a few months before his death in 2008, left his daughters with no ownership or control of Newman's Own Foundation, his legendary charity associated with the Newman's Own food brand. Prior versions of Newman's will, and indeed his own personal assurances to his family, indicated they'd have membership on the foundation's board following his death. Instead, the final version of his will left control of that foundation to his business partner, Robert Forrester. Some allege that during his final months, when Newman was mentally unstable, he was secretly persuaded to change his estate plan to leave control of the Newman's own brand and foundation to Forrester. Newman's daughters are currently fighting Forrester in court over the rights they believe they're entitled to receive. And while changes to your estate plan may seem perfectly clear to you, make sure that your family is on the same page by clearly communicating your intentions. And in fact, if you're making significant changes to your plan and your children are adults, we often recommend a full family meeting to go over everything with all impacted parties, and we can often facilitate such meetings for our clients. Then we have boxing great Muhammad Ali, who made his wishes clear. Muhammad Ali wanted multi-day festivities to be held in his honor, including a large festival, an Islamic funeral, and a dazzling public memorial at the KFC headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky. And given such elaborate plans, he worked with his lawyers for years, ensuring his wishes would be properly carried out. And while you probably won't need a multi-day festivity to celebrate your life, you might have wishes regarding how your life should be memorialized when you pass, or how your care should be handled if you're incapacitated. If you eat a special diet, or want certain friends by your side when you're incapacitated, you have to make these wishes clearly known in writing, or they might not happen. And at the same time, you also want to spell out exactly how you want your remains cared for and what kind of memorial service, if any, you prefer. If you find that this is something you want to discuss more with an attorney near you, I highly recommend talking with a personal family lawyer. We can help you ensure that your final wishes are carried out exactly as you want. And more importantly, we'll help protect your family and keep them out of court and out of conflict in the event of your death or incapacitation. With a personal family lawyer on your side, you have access to this exact same estate planning strategies and protections that A-list celebrities use. So don't wait another day. To find a personal family lawyer near you, you can go to personalfamilylawyer.com. Or if you are in Arizona or Colorado and would like to further discuss with me, you can reach out by calling my front desk to get on my calendar for a quick 15-minute chat. And you'll call 480-999-4455. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. And just a quick reminder that this isn't legal advice specifically for you. If you do find that you have additional questions or legal needs, definitely want to reach out to an attorney to get appropriately tailored advice for your situation. And with that, we'll wrap up another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I'm your host, Becky Easton, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.